In today's exciting video, I'm going to be touring one of the most popular and iconic neighborhoods here in Bellingham. And one neighborhood that actually means a lot to me because it's the very first neighborhood that we moved to as a kid when we moved from California. So if you're looking for charm, walkability, and just overall a great community sense of feel in a neighborhood, this is going to be the one for you. So make sure you stick around for this whole entire video because not only will I show you what this neighborhood has to offer, I'm going to be talking about price points, what you'll find in the neighborhood, what some of the good things are, what some of the bad things are. And this neighborhood isn't very big, so at the very end I will show you a house or two on what you can expect to find here in the Columbia neighborhood. All right, before we get into this video, I want to share just a quick story with you guys on why this neighborhood means so much to me. So when I was 8 years old, we lived in California. We relocated up here because my dad got a better job, went to school at Western, but this place right here was the very first house, and actually it's a duplex, and we lived on the right side. And my sister and I, my parents, we lived there, the very first place. It was just a 2-bedroom duplex, and that's what we shared. But our neighbor here too, which was amazing, his name was Jim. So if you ever find this guy named Jim, he was a younger guy, and he always used to play wiffle ball with us. And then behind us is this park. It's Lorraine Ellis Park. So that's where we're at right now. And we're on the most northern part of the Columbia neighborhood. But the park didn't used to look like this. Right now it's super sweet, big old slide, brand new park, but back then not so much. But I had so many friends on the corner back here. Brian was my best friend growing up. We had Alyssa, we had Heather, Dustin, Margaret, Kelsey. We had all these fun kids. And Columbia neighborhood is such a family-friendly area and kid-friendly. It's flat, you can ride your bike, you can skateboard. There's so much to do. And that's why I love this neighborhood so much, and that's why it means so much to me. But I want to show you the rest of it, enough of memory lane. So let's talk everything about the Columbia neighborhood and what to expect if you're looking at moving to Bellingham and buying a house in this neighborhood. All right, so if you're new to this channel, my name's Aldo. I'm a local realtor here in Bellingham and Whatcom County. And if you guys are moving to the area, drop a comment down below. Let me know what neighborhoods you want me to do next. If you live in Columbia or if you lived in Columbia, let me know what you like and what you don't like about it. So again, if you are looking to move to the area, I'd love the opportunity to help you out. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's move on with the video. So right now I am on Williams Street. As you can tell, it's very flat. Columbia neighborhood is extremely flat. I love it. The walkability here is essentially 10 out of 10. You can ride your bike, you can skateboard, you can scooter, you can do whatever. There's sidewalks on the streets. Not every single part of Columbia will have sidewalks, but the walkability is amazing. So Columbia essentially is tucked in right between Cornwall, Birchwood, and the Leonard neighborhoods. And it's not that big. It is pretty long, but it's not very wide. And if you've seen my last video on what I have done and the tour I did with Cordata, well, it's not that big and there's not a lot of amenities in a central hub with Columbia, but it has a phenomenal location. And what you'll find here in Columbia is you're gonna find a lot of charm, a lot of history. And the homes here aren't gonna be very big, maybe 1,000 to 1,200 square feet. Yes, you will find some that are much bigger, but they're gonna be built essentially in the early 1900s, some more of that early to mid-century feel. You're gonna see as we're walking through is you're gonna see a lot of single level, 2, maybe 3-bedroom, 1 and 1.5 bath, 1,000 to 1,200 square foot homes here in the Columbia neighborhood. And a lot of the homes have been updated here in the Columbia neighborhood, but some still have a lot of their charm and a lot of the character. They definitely still have a lot of those built-ins, those old hardwood floors that creak, the stairs that go up, the 2 stories that you maybe have 7 feet, 7.5 feet, and you're almost hitting your head up above. There's not a lot of them that will have AC or a lot of these newer sort of appliances. So it definitely does have a lot of its charm and character still built into them. Now, when it comes to the price, here in the Columbia neighborhood, it's, I would say, one of the most expensive neighborhoods when you compare price per square footage. And the average home that is sold here just this year in 2025, right now it's July of 2025, the average home that has sold here in the Columbia neighborhood is $815,000, which is insane because the average square footage is right around 1,200 square feet. So you're definitely not buying a house here for the size. You are really buying the house for this specific neighborhood, and you're definitely getting a lot with it because there's, like I said, you're really close to downtown and you butt up against other great neighborhoods. The walkability is amazing. Squalcombe Park is right around the corner, which is really nice. Even though it's not exactly in this neighborhood, you still can go to it very, very easily. At the very south end of the neighborhood, we do have Elizabeth Park, and Elizabeth Park was definitely one of the other parks as a kid growing up that I would go to a lot. And another reason why the Columbia neighborhood is also expensive is because at the very south end of the neighborhood, essentially we have Eldridge Street, and a lot of those homes will sit on the water, and they'll sit over views of the water, and they're beautiful and they're big, and you have amazing sunsets, and you can definitely reach over $1.5 million on those homes as well. But when you're kind of more inland like we are so now, you're definitely gonna find some of those smaller homes. Now, don't get me wrong, there is gonna be homes in this neighborhood without water views that will crest over $1 million, but those ones are probably going to be more updated. They'll probably have still a little bit of their charm. Last year I sold a house for just roughly about $1.2 million. It was about 2,200 square feet. It was a Victorian house, but a lot of it was updated, which was really nice. And it was large, and it was a Victorian house as well, which in this neighborhood, everybody loves a nice Victorian home. So let's continue on with the rest. So like I mentioned earlier, is that at the end of the video, I'm gonna show you 1 or 2 houses here that are for sale in the neighborhood. And the turnover here in this neighborhood is very minimal. The people who buy in this neighborhood, they stay, and their turnover is very, very small. And people have been living here for 20, 30, 40, 50 years plus, and they just love it that much. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind of. If you want to be in this neighborhood, it's going to be very, very competitive. The options are going to be very minimal, and you're most likely going to have to pay for full price or over asking price just because it's that popular of a neighborhood. Now let's talk about, I feel like this location is fairly underrated because though it doesn't have a lot of amenities within the neighborhood, everything is pretty much within reach. So right outside the neighborhood, you're gonna have Hagen's grocery store. If you watched any of my other last videos, is that we have quite a few Hagen grocery stores in our area. Not only that, you'll also have Jaeger's, which is a local sporting goods shop, which I grew up going there. Bought a bunch of Hot Wheels when I was a kid. They have fishing, outdoor gear, snowboards, skiing, essentially a very small version of REI, but very hyper local. So if you love supporting the local shops, Jaeger's is the spot to go to. And then of course, you're gonna have right across, you're gonna have Mi Rancho, have some other small little eateries as well. And then you'll also, like I mentioned, you will have Squalcombe Park just to the north side of the neighborhood. And then you're gonna have easy access and walkability to downtown, which I think is one of the best parts. And you can have a bike ride. Maybe it's gonna take you 10 minutes to get down to downtown, get to the boardwalk, get down to Waypoint Park. And I think that's what makes this location really nice and really easy for a lot of people, because when I first moved here, my dad, when he went to Western, he would ride his bike from our place all the way into Western Washington University when he was getting his master's program every single day. And like I said, very, very flat. Around Western, pretty hilly, but up until you get to the bottom of Western's campus, it's essentially very flat. So one thing to think about is that schools matter here. And whether you have kids or not, the schools, the neighborhoods with great schools drive that neighborhood. And people want to be in the Columbia neighborhood because of Columbia Elementary. And it's one of the most highly rated elementary schools here in Bellingham, and people absolutely love it. Obviously, that's where I went. That's just right down here where I lived. So I went to Columbia Elementary, then I went to Walkability Middle School, and then we ended up moving. but I went to Squalcombe High School, but in this neighborhood, you will be going to Bellingham High School. I did a video earlier, about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I talked about what kind of neighborhood that Columbia is. And it's the neighborhood that you can go down and it's very family friendly, kid friendly. There's also a lot of retirees and people who just want to live here that don't have kids. And like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of single level houses, so you do get a lot of people who are retired in this neighborhood. And the community is amazing. You're gonna see flags posted everywhere. You're gonna have people out talking to each other. You're gonna be able to ride your bike as a kid and just plant your bike out on front, and then you'll know where all the kids are at. So it does give you kind of that more traditional sort of feel like when I was a kid back in the early 2000s, late 90s, is that you're gonna be able to, it's very, very friendly. It's very, everybody welcomes each other. They talk to each other, they say hello. It's definitely a very open, welcome neighborhood, and the people in here are amazing, very similar minded people. I think what is important too for people in 2025 is that they want to feel like they belong in a certain area, and I think that Columbia definitely has that for you. So some things that I think you guys, if you're looking at buying here in the Columbia neighborhood, on what you should probably look out for is, in my opinion, as a real estate agent, is the homes itself. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these houses are 100+ years old, and with that can come problems, and with problems, it's not always the most fun to buy a home in this neighborhood, especially if you don't have a lot of cash reserves. And some problems we found in some houses here in the past is because they are old, you're gonna have more original plumbing, knob and tube electrical. You're gonna have, the roofs are just gonna be older. They're gonna be beat down a little bit. I think the bones and the structure within the houses are gonna be phenomenal, but you're definitely gonna have some things that could be wrong with the house. The crawl space issues could be a problem, and really what we found the most common is going to be the foundation. The foundations in the house, because they're 100+ years old and or 50 years old, is you're going to have some trouble with the foundation, with cracking and settling. And thankfully a lot of these houses aren't that big, so they relatively don't cost a lot of money. But again, if you don't have a lot of cash reserves, it could be something that you might be dealing with for a while. And this isn't to scare you, to tell you, hey, you know what, you shouldn't be buying in Columbia neighborhood. These are just the realities, and within my 10 years of experience of selling houses in Bellingham, is that these are some of the problems that we have come across. And a lot of them can be fixed. You know, that's why we have great contractors in our area, and we definitely have a lot of people that are familiar with some things. And I don't think every single house, I would say maybe a good 10 to 15% of houses that are sold here in Columbia neighborhood will have some sort of issue. But again, I have sold some brand new houses here in Bellingham, and I think that they've had much higher issues and more issues than we've had in these 100+ year homes. So, and that's real. I've sold brand new houses that we've had to have the builders come out and spend $20,000, $30,000. So again, it's not too scary, it's just to inform you guys on what to expect here in Bellingham and what to expect here in the Cordata neighborhood. So a question that I probably get asked very, very often on each and every neighborhood is, well, what type of person is right for this neighborhood? And so I think for someone who's looking to buy a house here in Columbia or live here, you're definitely gonna want to be somebody that loves to ride their bike, that loves to be outside, that doesn't care so much about really going out and venturing out past Bellingham. Because if you want to go hiking and all that stuff, yeah, you're gonna need a car. But if you're just roaming around just the letter streets, downtown, and this neighborhood, all you really need is a bike. Now, if you want a big sense of community, if you want to have neighbors and you want to be able to talk to your neighbors all the time, then yes, this is the place for you. If you love to garden, Columbia, because on most of the neighborhood, it doesn't have a lot of trees, as you can tell as we're walking. Well, the gardening is gonna be amazing, and the lots here in Columbia neighborhood are usually fairly big. They're not really small. You don't see 2,000-3,000 square foot lots like you would, you know, in the Cordata neighborhood. So if you love gardening, if you like living small, then definitely Columbia neighborhood is gonna be for you. And if you love those character homes and that feeling of walking in, kind of that older, musty smell in some homes, then yes, the Columbia neighborhood will be for you. But if you are looking for something bigger and your budget isn't a minimum of probably $800,000, then the Columbia neighborhood won't be for you. And if you're looking to be closer to trails and closer to the water and doing some of those activities, then yes, I think it mainly comes down to housing. And if you're not wanting a very small house, then the Columbia neighborhood definitely isn't for you. All right, guys, I have found a really nice, perfect house that I want to show you that really puts a picture of what the Columbia neighborhood looks like. So right now I'm on Jager Street, and behind us you can see a really cute house. It's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. It is under contract. By the time you even see this video, it's going to be completely sold. But I wanted to see and wanted to show you guys what houses in this neighborhood looks like. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 970 square feet, listed for $640,000. And so this is what you'll be able to find here in Columbia. And like I mentioned earlier, it's been about almost 2 months since I actually started this video because there's not very many houses that actually come on the market. So let's go take a look at it. So let's start with the front. So this is when you walk in. This is the living room. Now this specific house has had some upgrades, so not every single house will be like this, but you can see up top there, that is gonna be your AC and your heating. So that's what we call is a mini split or ductless heating. But this is what 970 square feet gets you, right? I'm obviously using a wide angle lens, so it does probably look a little bit bigger when you guys are viewing it. So right off the living room, they're gonna have the primary bedroom. So this is what it looks like. Obviously the size here is what this house has. It's the charm, it's the neighborhood, it's the feel. Obviously this is what the primary will look like on a 970 square foot house. And then there is your closet. So this was built, I think, in 1927. So a fairly older house. Like I mentioned earlier, great bones. And some of this stuff obviously isn't original, but some of the things you can tell are original. But here next is walking into the kitchen. This is what this will look like here. So this is pretty spacious for the kitchen. It's quite nice. And then if you walk into here, this is where your bathroom's gonna be. Obviously, not very many houses will have your bathrooms right behind your kitchen, but obviously, again, 100-year-old house, a little bit different, but nice, beautiful doors. You'll have gas, of course, but nothing special here on the countertops, just some laminate. And then through here is obviously your refrigerator. In just a second, we'll go out to the backyard. And then this is kind of like their flex room. I think it was really built for your dining room area, but they've kind of used it more like if you are working from home, it's more of a flex area, or you can use it for whatever you want. Because as of right now, they're just kind of having the table right there, which obviously you don't really want it right in the kitchen. But yeah, we'll go outside here in just a second. Nice little backyard, and it's all fenced, which is really nice. And then this does have a garage, which will be right behind this door. So that's also a plus. And then through this here will be the second bedroom. And this is what the second bedroom will look like. Probably about the same size as the primary bedroom. So it's not very big, but it's super cute. It's charming, it's quaint, whatever the words you want to use for it. When this house was listed, rates were around 6.5%. Listed for $630,000. I know for a fact that this had at least 10 offers on this house. Not very many houses are on the market. Again, that's what I've said in the beginning, is very popular neighborhood, just not very much comes on. The price that this is, now I can't share with you because by the time this is out, the house did close for about $680,000, so about $40,000 more. The house next to it closed for almost $100,000 over asking price. Now, and that's with rates at 6.5%. So imagine when a lot of the rates were 3.5%, 4%, they were going pretty quickly. But yeah, Columbia, like I said, I grew up in this neighborhood. I came here for a couple of years. I loved it. If I didn't have a large family, this is probably the neighborhood that I'd want to be in. Obviously very special to me, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So anyhow, let's go check out the backyard. So now we're in the backyard. Pretty small, like I mentioned earlier. There's not gonna be gigantic lots or big backyards in the Columbia neighborhood, but it's gonna be enough. And there's just so many more amenities around in the Columbia neighborhood that I think outweigh the fact that you don't have a big yard. Obviously, if you have a bunch of kids, might not be ideal, but still people wanna be in the neighborhood for this. So, real nice backyard, got some grass, everything that, like I mentioned, you don't have garages on the front. You're gonna have the garages are gonna be in the back, and you're gonna be able to come through the alleyway. So that is really nice, makes it really streamlined. I love the look. Obviously, a lot of the new construction homes don't have that, but if you're gonna be buying in Columbia, most likely you're not really gonna be buying a new construction home and vice versa. So guys, please, if you've lasted this long and looked and watched this video, please like and subscribe. Guys, once again, my name's Aldo. I'm a local realtor here in Bellingham. If Cordata is if Columbia is the right neighborhood for you, reach out to us, let us know. We'd love the opportunity to help you guys here. If it's not, that's not a problem. There's a bunch of more neighborhoods here in Bellingham that we can help you out with. And if it's not in Bellingham, anywhere in Whatcom and Skagit County. Once again, guys, my name's Aldo with the Levain Real Estate Team, and we'll see you next time.